Hello, welcome back to the Winning Agenda. My name's Jesse Muehlman-Marshall. I'm here with an update about the Banned and Restricted announcement that was made today, 5th of April 2022, by Legend Story Studios. I wanted to chat about a couple of things. I don't normally make these kind of update videos when there's a change in the metagame or a change in card legality, but I couldn't help but want to make a couple of comments about this particular update. And the reason is, as many of you know, I'll be attending Pro Tour number 1 in New Jersey in about a month's time. And obviously the Banned and Restricted announcement that LSS made today was one that a lot of people have been looking forward to who are attending the Pro Tour, and of course lots of other people besides. But particularly for Pro Tour attendees, this was, as I understood it, and I think as many other people understood it, the Banned and Restricted update that was going to frame the metagame for the Pro Tour. So many of us, I know from talking to a lot of other players all around the world, had scheduled their time over the next sort of 5-6 weeks up until the Pro Tour as sort of this testing block where we were going to try and get in as much testing of this metagame, whatever it was, as possible to prepare for the Pro Tour. Unfortunately, that's been dealt a little bit of a blow by this announcement today, because as we can see here, whilst there are no changes to Classic Constructed as of this update, if we scroll down, we see this paragraph here that says, "It is our intent for the competitive season through the end of April to be played with no changes to the Banned and Restricted list, and for Pro Tour New Jersey to be the first major event to tackle a new metagame. As such, we're making no changes to Classic Constructed at this time. The next Banned and Restricted announcement is scheduled for May 2, at which point it is possible that Bravo Star of the Show will have achieved Living Legend status." So the implication here is that, number one, there will be another Banned and Restricted update before the Pro Tour, which is somewhat frustrating for Pro Tour competitors who are planning on doing a bit of testing, and particularly for those in advance, and particularly for those of us who are traveling, from around the world. I'll be leaving Australia on the 7th of May, which is about 5 days after this announcement. I was planning to spend, a week before the Pro Tour with my wife traveling around the United States, but turns out that time may be interrupted a little bit by a need to test a brand new metagame. So that's a little bit frustrating. I mean, that's kind of a personal twist, but I'm sure that lots of other people are in similar circumstances where they'll be leaving their home country and their home testing group, traveling to the States, and now they've got this really shortened time frame to be able to actually test the new metagame, potentially. The other aspect to this that's really interesting is that LSS says it is possible that Bravo Star of the Show will have achieved Living Legend status. Now, this caught me by surprise because my understanding, aside from the snafu with this table that they've got here on the page with all of the dates of the events that are awarding Living Legend points and trying to tally up to 1,000, which did have a couple of mistakes earlier on, and there was some mistiming with events, but all of that doesn't really matter. Little administrative errors or numbers, that sort of thing doesn't bother me. And I don't want this to come across as a criticism of LSS at all. I just want to express and articulate to LSS what I think a lot of players are thinking and feeling in response to this announcement. So what struck me about this Bravo Star of the Show line around Living Legend is that my understanding of the Living Legend rules was that when the next booster set is released is when any hero that's achieved 1,000 Living Legend points in Classic Constructed before that date will be inducted into the Hall of Living Legends and therefore banned from Classic Constructed. I think a lot of other people shared that understanding. And where did I get that understanding from? I got it from this article from July last year, which was headed Living Legend Changes on the 30th of July, which said, you can see here, heroes that reach Living Legend points threshold will attain Living Legend status and therefore no longer be legal for tournament play when the new booster set releases. Admittedly, 30th of July is a while ago, so I went digging a little bit further and I noticed that there was this Living Legend update on the 15th of September. I remember looking at this at the time, and this reinforced my understanding that heroes that reach the Living Legend points threshold will attain Living Legend status and therefore no longer be legal for tournament play when the next booster set releases. No mention of any other dates or any other thresholds, it's just that booster set release. That's as of September last year. So I thought to myself, I don't remember this being clarified or changed in any official announcement. And someone pointed me to this card legality policy page. As of today, it reads, upon the release date of each booster set and scheduled Banned and Restricted announcement, All heroes who have reached the Living Legend points threshold will attain Living Legend status. I don't remember this ever being mentioned before. Anyone in the comments, please point me to an announcement when this was announced by LSS, because I could have missed it. I mean, I think I'm a pretty enfranchised player who pays a fair amount of attention to LSS's social media and their announcements, but I don't recall this having been mentioned before. So that kind of struck me as a surprise. I then went back and had a look at the Internet Archive to see if I could find when this was changed. And the most recent entry in the Internet Archive before today was from November 2021. And that held the same text as the previous updates, which is, upon the release date of each booster set, no mention of banned and restricted updates. So I don't know whether this was just added in today, this text around scheduled banned and restricted announcements, or whether it was added in sometime in the last couple of weeks, but it would have been nice for LSS to announce this in some bigger way. If they have, my apologies, and I'm sorry that I missed it, but as far as I can tell, this hasn't really been communicated clearly to players. So that all just struck me as a little bit unfortunate that firstly, players who are coming to the Pro Tour are not going to be able to utilize the next 3 or 4 weeks up until the next ban and restricted announcement, basically a month. They're not going to be able to utilize that time to effectively test, because we're going to have this shadow hanging over us of, will the metagame change completely? Because I think we can all agree that if Stavo is banned, as of this new Living Legend arrangement, where as at May 2nd, if it's reached 1,000 points, it's banned. If that happens, that'll change the metagame. If it's banned otherwise, or otherwise changed in this May 2nd ban and restricted announcement, regardless of whether it's at 1,000 points, that will also change the metagame. And that will kind of invalidate, in many ways, a lot of the testing that people are doing now. So I'm a little bit frustrated and disappointed by that. I'm still super excited for the Pro Tour. I'm going to be going along. I'm going to be doing my best to test with this uncertainty. But yeah, I do. LSS, if you're watching, if you're listening, I think giving people as much, like a reasonable amount of time to test, acknowledging that there is no online client for FaB. There's no way to efficiently get heaps of testing games in a short period of time. People are traveling from all around the world for this tournament. It's not like Magic, it's not like even Netrunner, which, I used to play, and I could just jump on Jinteki, heading over to Worlds and, jam hundreds of games within the space of a few days. I can't do that when I'm overseas, away from my friends and my testing group, just before a Pro Tour. So I would have liked to see us given at least this 6-week period. I think the element of this this announcement that says this approach is intended to put the challenge of exploring a revised metagame in the hands of the elite group of players taking part at the Pro Tour. I'm not sure you're going to effectively do that by giving them sort of 2 weeks to test, acknowledging that people are going to spend, a decent chunk of that 2 weeks traveling from all around the world for this event. So a little bit disappointed by that aspect of it. The Pro Tour is going to be really exciting. I'd love to see some more clarity around the Living Legend status and some more announcements from LSS to sort of clarify how all of that's intended to work. But yeah, for all of you who are coming to the Pro Tour, I'm really looking forward to seeing you there. Do shout out and let me know if you're going to be there. If you would like to say hi or catch up, that'd be awesome to see many of you who watch these videos from all around the world and who are going to be at the Pro Tour. I should say as well, I'm really grateful to Underground Games. It's www.undergroundgamesbh.com.au, who are supporting me to go to the Pro Tour, as well as Plenty of Games Melbourne. And Underground Games have been kind enough to also offer to Winning Agenda viewers, if you are purchasing singles from www.undergroundgamesbh.com.au, you can get 5% off your order using the code TWA5, and you'll also be supporting the channel. So thanks for watching, and I'll see, hopefully, many of you at the Pro Tour. Cheers.